Welcome anyone to the Gaming Chamber podcast. This is Two Beasts to Kill You, your host for this 18th episode. It is finally legal. I know that excites you, right, Devin? Finally legal. As you can tell, joining me this week, Devin.
Hey, how's it going?
And of course, as always, usually joining me, JJ.
Howdy there.
Or actually, was I wrong? Is it more excitable to you, JJ, that it's legal?
Why?
I Okay, I don't think he understands the joke. But let's
I
let's
don't.
let's
Sounds
go
like a
ahead and
boomer
move on.
joke.
That's a boomer joke. Yes, I get it because I am
I'm not.
old.
I'm not Stephen Hawking. I
Wait, what do you mean?
get it because he was on Epstein Island.
I mean,
I
the
might be
guy.
good looking, but I ain't no Drake though, dude. Okay, I ain't no Drake.
Oh god. See, I love how even though like you guys are like are you wait are you guys the same age or similar age anyway?
JJ's 2 years younger than me.
But like that's what I'm saying. You guys are like basically in the same age group or whatever. Devin's still
Yeah, and
like
you're like 55.
yes,
You're like the
exactly.
same age as my
Eh,
dad, right?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. I'm old enough to be your guys' dad. Um, what do you call it? Devin still has like an old guy's mindset that he went for Stephen Hawking. Well, JJ went for Drake, the young dude. And did that actually turn out like that's not that was just something from in the diss raps, right? Like
No, I mean he was texting Millie Bobby Brown when she was like first on Stranger Things and stuff.
yeah,
That's sus, dude.
that's kind of fucking weird. That's
Yeah.
fucking weird. Yeah, for sure. But hey, we're asking the hard hitting questions here on the Drake chamber, apparently.
We're team Kendrick Lamar.
I'm gonna tell you right now. So I'm gonna tell you right now. I don't give a shit who quote unquote won that rap beef. But Kendrick Lamar's raps sucked, dude. I don't know why people were like they're so much better. I'm like, you guys clearly. I mean, you know what? It makes sense though. A lot of rap sucks nowadays. Yes, because I am old. Like I'm into Tupac, Biggie, the older shit, Bone Thugs, Ice Cube, Snoop. Uh, so I just don't like rap nowadays. And so you know what? Now I'm getting it why people are like, damn, yeah, his raps are great because those people don't like good shit. They don't. That's why fucking I know your favorite rapper Yeezy, Kanye. Right? That's why he's still popular, right? Even though he's bad
I
at
don't. I haven't
rapping.
listened. I haven't listened to a Kanye song in years.
I don't know. I will say, as much as I think Drake sucks, I think his what is it called? I think it was called Family Matters. As the kids say, it went hard. That's what I want to see. I want to see like that's what I. But anyways, this is neither here nor there. Obviously, we're supposed to be talking about games and not rap, especially when you guys are not into rap. I know Devin, you're more into like shit rock or whatever. But yeah,
Alternative.
yeah, that's what I said. Shit rock. I don't. What's the difference? Yeah. JJ, you're aren't you like into like Taylor Swift or something?
Yes.
He's like, yeah. So what?
Yeah, everyone's
Yeah.
a Swiftie, dude. If you're not 20, it's 2024, and if you're not a Swiftie,
Hey,
you're
yeah.
you're out of the loop.
Haters gonna hate, right?
Hmm
I think we've made this
Like the
joke
fake.
on a previous podcast episode, right? I just
Yeah.
don't remember. I know that that's a line from a song. That's it. Oh yeah, we made the joke, and then I said came in like a wrecking ball. I'm like, you know what? They're all white chicks to me. They're all just basic white chicks that make bad music. But yeah. So all right, this week, unfortunately, there wasn't a lot of news. We are going to talk about a couple of the more major things that happened, although they're still not that major. But yeah, I mean, it seems like all the biggest stuff happened, last week prior to the Xbox showcase, and I'm assuming all the like nobody's gonna say anything any big news that could have happened, not happening for maybe, hopefully by next week, when we record the next episode.
Well, yeah, well, the Nintendo. I mean, like, because one of the things that
Yeah,
we'll
well,
talk
so
about is
no,
the
yeah,
Nintendo Direct.
we have the Nintendo Direct that's happening as of this recording. It's tomorrow at 7 a.m. That's when it's gonna happen. So we will definitely talk about that. But I'm saying like for other things, we'll see what happens because I don't
About Elden Ring.
I don't
Well, we're gonna be
know.
talking about Elden Ring next week.
Yeah. I mean, we'll talk about how the DLC is and everything. So
Our first thoughts about it.
something like that, yeah. But that's gonna be for next week, and we'll see what happens then. If it's more than just Elden Ring and Nintendo Direct, but because there's not a lot to talk about, we will, like I said, we will talk about what did happen, at least the stuff that's bigger in comparison. We're gonna do something a little different for this episode. We're gonna my cohorts and I are coming in with two topics to basically to talk about what we're going to talk about. So it could be whatever. I don't necessarily know exactly what JJ and Devin want to make for their two topics, but this is what we're going to do this week. It should provide some at least somewhat entertaining discussion, especially if we our normal stupid selves, but we'll see what what happens. So let's just go ahead and get into what we've been playing for the last week. JJ?
Yeah, I've been playing a little bit of Call of Duty, whatever, until Valorant came out on beta for Xbox. So
Oh yeah,
I've been
that's right.
playing kind of a ton
That
of
is
that.
out now. How is that?
It's
Like, it's a
it's
hero
not bad.
shooter, right? But like,
Yeah, kind of. It's just it's Counter-Strike. That's it, really. Kind of just search and destroy game mode, defend and attack. That's really it. They do have like a long version of it, which is like takes like 30 minutes to play. A quick version, the same one, but you just get more money. Game ends faster. And there's like TDM as well, and like a free for all, so you can just play however you want.
that's what I
I've been
was.
digging it because with Game Pass, they have it with Riot, where like, what I think 2 years ago or something like that, they had it where if
Oh,
you
when they
link your
did
Riot account
the
with
like
Xbox Game Pass, you get all
that
the
was
heroes
not
for
2 years
free.
ago. I think that was. I think that might have been like even like 4 or 5 years ago. That could
That was a
not have been.
while ago.
Yeah, it was a while ago. Where
But
you got like
yeah,
all the
you,
I don't know what the legends. I guess that's what they're called, right? In League of
you get all
Legends,
the Well, I don't fucking know. I just call them heroes, whatever the
the
characters. You get all the
characters.
characters from Overwatch. I mean, pretty much. I mean, like Valorant, and you get all the characters from League of Legends. But since I have Game Pass, I got to be able to get all the characters and
Yeah.
just try them all out. It's a little weird because again, there's so many characters that I haven't seen before, but it's fun. It's actually kind of crazy how people are super bad at the fucking game and know how to play those type of games.
I mean, that makes sense. That they're probably. I mean, Valorant seems like it's trying to market itself to the casual crowd, the way, like it's. I mean, which makes sense. It's what's the name of the company? Riot Games, right? Yeah. Like you want to try, especially with a market that's saturated as much as the hero shooter, quote unquote, or whatever. Because I know that Valorant still has the hero shooter qualities, right? Like it still does some of that stuff, but I didn't know it was more Counter Strike than
Counter-Strike's just your
Overwatch.
typical like it's more like Call of Duty. That's it. You got guns. That's it. It's like I want to say it's probably a mix between like Apex and Counter-Strike.
So yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's
Yeah.
actually, then it would be more of like Overwatch and Counter Strike because Apex is basically what if Overwatch had a battle royale? um, which I'm surprised they don't.
No fucking
I think
PvE mode.
Apex.
That's cool.
I think Apex does like do like 3-on-3 or 6-on-6 modes now, but I haven't played in so long. Yeah, no, I'm actually surprised to hear that it's more like Counter Strike. I was assuming it was going to be more like just another basically straight up. I mean, the game's been out for a while, right? On PC, hasn't it?
Yeah, yeah, it's been out for maybe I want to say like 3, 4 years, maybe
But I
a
just
little
never
before. I
paid
think actually
attention.
before COVID.
I
Actually,
never paid attention to it. That's the thing.
I played a little bit. I was a big CS:GO fan, so like I was kind of really like
No,
fuck Valorant, dude. Fuck, But I was like, okay, maybe on console I'll play a little bit more, just because on PC those type of games are really fucking
but like you're saying too, that like people are
sweaty.
bad. That makes sense
But
because well,
on
no,
console, I don't think
yeah,
people understand. You have to walk, and then you can
yeah.
run,
I was
ready
gonna
to take the
say I don't
knife
think
out.
a lot of people are gonna get that it's more like Counter Strike, or if you're more of a console player, probably the better equivalent would be Rainbow Six Siege. Like
Yeah, there you go.
as
There you go.
like as
Actually, that's a
popular
good
as
one. Yeah, that's a good one right there. Siege.
yeah, because as popular as those games are, like for the casual like you know console crowd, like those aren't going to be big enough games. Obviously, Overwatch and Call of Duty are like the bigger shooters when it comes to just competitive play and all that stuff. So yeah, well, that's
Yeah,
cool.
when Counter Strike came out to like, Xbox, like it pretty much was dead on arrival.
I mean, they
Like
had that. Yeah,
the
what was it
the
called?
game was,
What was it?
I think it was,
It was
fuck,
a
I think I
it
thought it
was
was,
Global Offensive, but the CS:GO, but I don't know if it had like another. It was like an arcade title. I bought it.
yeah, yeah, I bought it too,
I
or
just
I no, I
yeah.
think I played a beta demo because you had like an hour demo. Because I remember I was playing with Sam and he said I'll be right back and wasted 40 minutes of the demo just standing there.
Oh
Like
god.
an idiot. But I'm like, damn it. But I was playing some of that, and I think I was playing obviously RuneScape. That's it. Just because new quests coming out, and Final Fantasy 14 comes out next Friday for early access.
Ah yes. Devin, anything you've been playing anything last week?
Not a whole lot. I've played some Doom Eternal. Um, like I mentioned in the previous podcast, seeing Doom got me a little excited. So playing some Doom Eternal, and then now playing Elden Ring just so get ready for the DLC. That's really about it. Both kids were home this like past week, so just really tired at the end of the day. So didn't play a whole lot this week. So, but really enjoying getting back into Doom and playing that. Like I know it's gonna be probably two
Oh
plus years. So
yeah. Actually, I did forget. I should have said it at the start of the podcast. Did happen yesterday, but hey, happy Father's Day to both of you guys.
yeah.
There will be a theme later on of that. So, just yeah.
What you calling me Zaddy? You gonna call me
Uh,
Zaddy?
all right. Anyways, all right. So you playing Doom? Okay. Anyway, as for me, this past week I've just been playing Destiny, with the Final Shape DLC coming out. Also, the seasonal story stuff has started last Tuesday with the Echoes storyline, Echoes episode, Act One. Uh, it's been good. Like I mean, a lot of people complain about the way the seasonal story shit goes because it's basically the way it works, and it's still basically the same thing. I think, for all intents and purposes, is that like they give you basically a couple missions or a mission, and you're doing stuff, and then it's like, okay, you're done for the week. Next week, come back for the next set of missions or a mission or whatever. And it's always like, it's like this week or this season, it's like saying, they make it like an in-lore thing, like, oh, they're doing research. They'll come back with their findings. Wait until then or something. Always, obviously, it's every Tuesday, the next little tidbit in the story. But yeah, so I don't know. I like what's going on with so far that they're trying to continue a story after the Final Shape ending and everything, beating the Witness. Um, yeah, just basically Destiny right now. Not much else. All right.
Okay.
Huh?
Oh, I forgot to say one more thing. I forgot one more game I also tried was Dark and Darker. That was the other one. I forgot to say that. Play that
Dark
one
and
too.
Darker. What is that? I've heard of that.
It's you probably heard it because last year like, they had the whole thing on Steam where another company pretty much just shut them down for using assets from them. But it's like Escape from Tarkov, but it's more of a medieval setting. So you go in a dungeon, you bring some gear that you get, go in there, try to get more loot and gear. If you die, you lose all your shit, kind of thing.
Oh, okay, okay.
It's
Huh.
free. It's free. Um, but you only get one slot, one character slot. So I'm playing the free one. I'm a ranger because my buddies were like playing other classes. I think one my buddy was a cleric and the other one was kind of like a fighter using like a sword and shield kind of thing. But yeah, I think we were playing. I shot my buddy in the face because like I was kiting a skeleton at me, and the skeleton like moved just at the right time where I shot my arrow, and it shot my friend in the face and killed him.
Oh
I'm
wow,
like, no.
that's
But you can
funny.
revive your friends. It's pretty interesting. It's I think they obviously they want you to pay for the $30 game so you can get more character slots and extra goodies in the game. But other than that, that was the last game. Sorry, I
Oh,
forgot.
no, no, you're good. You're good. All right, so all right, let's with that. I guess we'll just go ahead and move into the little amount of news for the week. But I mean, there's a couple. Like I said, there's a couple things. I don't know. I want to talk. I want to see Devin's take on this one. I didn't really want to talk about this, but we'll go ahead and add it in or whatever. Even though I was joking with you guys, obviously in the Discord and everything, Christian McCaffrey is going to be the cover athlete for Madden. Devin, how excited are you?
I mean, I haven't been excited for Madden games in a while. I mean, Christian McCaffrey on the cover, like it makes sense. Like Zach, our buddy, he was texting me like, "Who do you think's gonna cover?" I'm like, CMC or Kelsey. Like I said that before it was even. I knew it was gonna be one of them. They're just like they're kind of like the face of the league. They're kind of like in the pop culture scene, so like they're kind of like the big heads. Because
I'm
Christian
actually
McCaffrey,
surprised that what's his face,
he
Travis Kelsey, right? I'm surprised he
he
didn't.
was no, well, he was on him. No, he wasn't on a Madden. I think it was just Patrick Mahomes. I don't think Kelsey's been on Madden yet,
I'm just
but
surprised he's
uh,
not because of the whole with him and
he's probably just too busy. But
that's
Christian
the one that's
McCaffrey,
with
he
Taylor Swift,
dates.
right?
Yeah, he's the one's dating Taylor Swift. But Christian McCaffrey, uh, he's dating some model. What's her name?
He's
Olivia
also a
Culpo.
loser. He's also a loser, but whatever.
Well, the 49ers in general. Like, it's funny how like unrelated, but it's funny how like the Cowboys always get so much crap for like not winning a Super Bowl for so long. The 49ers drought is longer than the Dallas Cowboys,
But
but
I think with that
it's
is
because
that
the
they
49ers
actually make it to the Super Bowl.
they've made it. But the thing is, it's like everyone says it doesn't really matter. I mean, like no one really cares if
Yeah,
you keep
because in
making
the
it. You still
history
have to win
books,
it.
in the history books, it's not going to say, "Oh yeah," and they did make it. No, it's going to say the fucking Chiefs won. Yeah,
Yeah.
No, I get you. That's
So I said it was gonna be one of those two guys, and it ended up being. So I'm like, I'm not shocked. I I'm biased, but like I do think it should be Justin Jefferson. Um,
he's never gonna.
I mean, two Viking players have been on Madden covers. You've had Dante
Yeah,
and
but I think we're in a
Adrian.
time now where
But I'm thinking maybe they didn't do Justin Jefferson just because like he hadn't signed his new contract. Because I remember back when they Favre was on the cover, it was the year he switched from the Jets to the Vikings, and then so they had him on the cover. Or no, it was the Packers. It was the Packers to the Jets, and they had printed all these covers of Favre on the Packers, and then they were like, "Oh, you can come to our website and print them. If you want a Jets cover, you can print a Jets one." And I remember like getting trade-in copies at GameStop. Some people had like the Jets cover, and some people had like the Packers one. So I think maybe because he didn't have his extension, but like, and like when because I watch like the Rich Eisen show and other sports shows, like when Rich Eisen was at the Super Bowl, he said no, like in terms of like kids and who they follow around, and like biggest like aura around him, like of everyone, like oh, it was Justin Jefferson. They said he had the biggest following, like in terms because he does the gritty, so like he does like it's like a Fortnite. He's the one who popularized it, the
oh yeah,
gritty
I know.
dance, and that's why it's in Fortnite. So kids love that. Like I don't know. For me, it's just like that's the reason why. Like, if you're trying to sell these like games and get new fans, I mean, like
No, I
if you get
remember
Justin Jefferson on
the
the
game
cover,
we went to, the game that you and I went to. There was a lot
yeah,
of kids doing that fucking gritty dance. Yeah, every time they showed
yeah.
a kid, every
But it's not even, and
every
it's not
time.
even, and it's not even just like Vikings fans. It's just like everyone loves to gritty. So when I get really drunk, I do the gritty. It's just the way it is.
You also get naked and start trying to like hump everyone, but that's a whole other thing.
I wish.
He's like, right. All right. So JJ, what are your thoughts on Christian McCaffrey? He's like, I really think, I really think Luka Doncic should have been the Madden cover athlete.
I really think he footballs home runs hard.
Yeah, like
It's,
he's like, I really think
shooting a
he's good
three-pointer.
at putting the basketball into the stands to get that home run.
It's like you guys talking about water polo, right?
Oh my god, are you saying you're not a huge sports fan, JJ?
I like baseball, but
That's
no, not
that's
really.
not a sport. If you're
American
not
pastime.
really
American pastime.
exerting yourself,
American pastime.
America's pastime, just like JJ said. It's America's
pastime. It's a pastime. It's more like a hobby.
It would be
I
the pastime
like
best
baseball
time.
too.
Pastime best time.
I like baseball too.
I would love to see you try to hit a baseball.
Oh no,
I'd pay
I would not be able to do it.
mine to do that.
What? I can't knit either. Does that mean like, oh, knitting can be considered a sport? Which
No,
probably
but you could.
there's
Possibly-
competition.
I guarantee you could learn how to knit better than you could hit a baseball.
Probably not.
I guarantee it.
I guarantee you, I could hit a baseball better than I could learn to knit.
I'd give you 100,000 chances to get a base hit in a Major League Baseball game, and you would never do it. But if I give you 100,000 hours to learn how to knit, I guarantee you'd be making scarves and selling them on Etsy.
Like, and this one is a Gears of War scarf. And with that, that's a great transition. We're gonna move to the next thing, the next major news piece for the week. I don't know if you guys saw, but Jez Corden of Windows Central, he had an interview with the Coalition about Gears of War E-Day. It's got some new details on it. I'm just gonna just make this in a more consumable.
Cliff note it.
Yeah, Cliff Note, more consumable little fashion. Obviously, if you read it, go to Windows Central or follow Jez Corden on Twitter. It's a pretty good read, but basically the Cliff Notes, yes, takes place 14 years before Gears 1. Duh, it's E-Day. Supposedly, or not supposedly, but they hinted at new weapons and locust types, which would be interesting. Something I don't really like about prequels. That they adding in like new things that weren't in the I guess previous games or whatever, but like it sometimes happens or whatever. Multiplayer is going to be there. We'll talk about that. Returning to Gears roots. We'll talk about what they mean by that too. And hinting that it's the origin of the Chainsaw Lancer variant. So the things that really stuck out to me, they made sure like that people were going to know that there's going to be multiplayer. Now, they didn't say straight up PvP multiplayer, like we've been getting, but they said when asked like, "Oh, is it going to have multiplayer?" their response was, "This is a Gears game. It's a mainline game. It's not just some spin-off." So that would lead us to believe that there's still going to be multiplayer. Well, the exact quote was something about that Gears, what was it? It was like the fabric of Gears or something like that. This is what types of multiplayer modes have. So most likely we might even still have like Horde and everything, because that's just become like a Gears staple. I don't know. So I mean, that's exciting, right, guys? Like, I mean, we play a lot of Gears. We have played a lot of Gears multiplayer, so obviously, I would assume you guys are like, yes, to keep playing it and everything.
Yeah.
Gears games?
What were you saying, JJ?
We play a lot of Gears.
Oh yeah, played a lot of too much Gears. But I mean, yeah, I mean, was this what like a worry for you guys that it might not have any multiplayer?
No.
Oh, wow.
No, I didn't think so. I thought I was gonna have multiplayer all the time too.
Call of Duty multiplayer.
I mean,
Alright.
more when it comes to Call of Duty,
Invasion Woods?
if there's a new Call of Duty game, I think the more likely question is like, is there going to be
there a campaign?
Yeah, is there a
Yeah.
campaign? Like that's all Call of Duty is now, is just multiplayer. That's what. But I mean, you know what? I find it so funny. Like going off here on a little tangent or whatever. Like, there was the Black Ops 6 direct, and everyone was like excited that they were talking about like campaign, and that like when they showed trailers, like, oh, and it's focusing on the campaign. I'm like, nobody cares about the campaign for Call of Duty. Like even like the biggest complaints for Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3, the newer one, was that it was a shit campaign. But I'm like, nobody plays the campaign for Call of Duty. When all the stats are shown, like it's like everyone plays multiplayer. Like, so I don't understand that, but whatever. I guess people just want to complain about stuff. But I don't know. That's Call of Duty.
Campaign was shit. It was fucking pissed me off.
Hmm?
Campaign was shit. It was short as shit.
Well, no, I
The
didn't
most
like the
recent one?
the most recent Modern Warfare 3. Yeah, it was. It was, dude. Like,
It was terrible.
it was terrible. It was like what they did was they took parts from like they had like some missions. It was like, I don't know, maybe 4 or 5. I want to say there was like 7 or 8 missions, maybe 9 missions, but they were all super short. And like 4 or 5 of them were like actual, like what you would think of as like a single player campaign level or whatever. And like the other half were just, they basically took parts of the Warzone map and were like, oh, I forgot what they called. They had like a special name for it. It was like, might have been called like open combat missions or some shit like that. And it was just like,
Yeah, that felt like they just try to extend the fucking the campaign.
yeah, it was just
Like,
basically they put you in a part of the map, and it was like you had to go from one end of the map to the other to do like, oh, you're collecting like one of them was, oh, you're going to the spot because a plane crashed, and so you're going to the different areas to collect like cell phones or parts of the black box or whatever, because you're trying to make sure that you collect the data before the bad guys do, so that way you can like prove that the group that you're a part of aren't actually terrorists or whatever. It was, as you can tell, I didn't pay too much attention to the story. It was not great. Yeah, it was a bad campaign. It was, and apparently the thing is too, um, the big like rumor with this was that it was actually supposed to be DLC for Modern Warfare 2. Like it was going to be an actual campaign DLC. This wasn't supposed to be a full-fledged game that they sold for $70. So I don't know, with the way that campaign was, I mean, it's possible that maybe it wasn't supposed to be a full-fledged game. It was supposed to be DLC, but I don't know. That's Call of Duty though. I don't know. So yeah, Gears E-Day still looking to have multiplayer. The other thing that I wanted to touch on with this, it was talking about going back to the Gears of War roots. When they said that, they were specifically talking about like to bring back the horror of Gears of War, which I wanted to touch on because I have an issue with that. I remember when Gears 4, they had that trailer where they showed the part of the campaign, and then they had their trailer and it said like the horror returns or something like that. And yeah, so like there's been this thing for the past, whatever amount of years, ever since at least since Gears 2, like, but more so since maybe a little bit after Gears 3, where people are like, I want Gears of War to be a horror game again. And I'm like, did nobody play Gears of War 1? All these people that talk about that? And it's funny too. Cliff Blazinski I forgot the name of the person he did an interview with. He had an interview, and he even said this, that Gears of War was never like a horror game. There were some horror elements, and there was even like, he's like, there's a mission, like, yeah, where like they kind of pump it up, but the games were always supposed to be like bombastic, like action stuff. And even Gears of War 1, like not as much as like Gears 2 or 3, had more of that like action, like summer blockbuster shit going on. So I don't know. Am I crazy hearing this, that like did you guys think of Gears of War as like a horror game? Gears, at least from Gears 1, that first one.
No, I think maybe they're just like they're saying like it's gonna have more horror elements than like, because Gears 5 like didn't have any horror like elements at all. Like it was just like a straight action game. So I think they're just for me personally, I think they're just saying like it's gonna have its horror elements added back in. Because obviously Gears 1 you had like the Krill, and like that was kind of like a horror thing. Like you can't see him, like you go in the dark and you're just gonna get
Yeah, that
killed.
was.
So it's like,
Yeah, when I was listening to the podcast, I think it was that podcast. He was specifically talking about like there's that mission that's like that's definitely like, oh yeah, like supposed to be scary because you're like, shit, don't go in the dark and everything. So yeah, it's funny that you actually mentioned that, because yeah, that's.
yeah. So like I think that's the stuff they're talking. I don't think it's gonna be like I don't anticipate it being a straight horror game. They couldn't do that. I mean, like it's just gonna have the horror elements. And I think the locusts are gonna be scarier than
Well, they did
what
talk
they have
about
been.
that. Like they did talk
Yeah,
about that
that's
in
one. Yeah,
the Xbox Newswire like post. They talked about like how they wanted to make the locust scary again. It's funny. It's kind of like remember when Halo Reach was coming out, and there was like Bungie was talking about like they wanted to make basically the elites scary again. That's why like in one of the trailers they made them they even kind of, if you look at the designs of the elites from like Halo 3 to Reach, they do look a little bit more monsterish, monster like, or whatever term you want to use or whatever. They clearly did try to like, oh, we got to make these guys scary again, because I mean by Halo 3 they were obviously allies and everything too. But no, yeah, they did say that there was that talk that they wanted to make the locust scarier. And I had even mentioned it on last week's podcast. Like that drone that they had in the trailer, he looked a little bit more skeleton like. So
yeah. I mean, and thinking about this, how there's gonna be like new like enemy variants and stuff. Like 14 years have passed, like will have gone by, so I think there'll have been time for the locust to like evolve. Like I mean, like because we had eventually they had the emulsion poisoning. So I mean, like I do think even if there are like enemy variants or whatever that we haven't seen before, I think it'll be like you can still explain it away. Like that, like, oh, 14 years go by, so that's why these guys look different than they do now. So at least there's a different, like, it's not like this prequel takes place like 6 months before the events of Gears 1.
I get you. I get you. I know. That's actually, but like, yeah, when you're talking about like you talking about that, like I said, I don't like that kind of stuff though, where it's like there's something different, like a big change or introducing a new type of whatever. Because they said like, they hinted at new like locust types. That was something like even Judgment did. They had those. I think they're called Ragers. And I'm like, why are we doing this? Why are you adding these? They were not in the other games. Just breaks. I don't know when it breaks lore that badly, because obviously the Rages are in Judgment. That's supposed to be set like a few weeks after E-Day, so it's obviously set 14 years before Gears 1 and the rest of the games and all that stuff. But they don't ever show up again. The Ragers, although they do, they show up in the what is it called, Aftermath, that like campaign uh story that has Cole and Baird. It's set during during Gears 3. So I think they do show up in that. I think even Baird makes a joke like, I thought I'd never see these guys again or something like that, but yeah.
Yeah, I think it's just like, I don't know, game developers, like, I know that like breaks lore, but they're just like, we got to add something new, or people are just going to be like, oh, it's just lazy developers, or
Yeah, you're probably right on that one. That they have
So
that.
I think they
thing.
feel like they have to, even though like it breaks canon and lore and stuff. It's just like, oh, we have to like do something new, or like people are just gonna like kind of just be like, oh, we're just reskinned a game or something like that. So
I don't know. JJ, you haven't been saying much. What
I
about
was saying,
these?
like, they're just gonna make the game just darker and more just that eerie feeling when you go. They want to make Locust scary again by they're a big deal because when we play the other games, like, oh, just fucking, they're just cannon fodder. That's literally it. Like, oh, here's 5 locusts and the fucking grenadier. Then it
yeah,
became the grenadiers were like the big dicks
Yeah,
and
but
shit
I
like
don't
that.
know.
Maybe I
See,
want to see a boomer bust open a fucking door. We're like, oh shit, and actually fucking mean something instead of hold on, just take cover, fucking blow his head off 3 times.
but I think
You know?
that kind of stuff is, to me, that's like when people obviously, because like, no, you got, like I said, I've said that, I say this like pretty much every week. You guys aren't terminally online like I am,
yeah, we
but
have lives.
yeah, something like that. But the thing I see a lot of, like, especially recently, there's been a lot of celebration, like, oh, they're going away from that Gears 4 and 5 stuff, because a lot of people don't like Gears 4 and 5 apparently, which I don't understand that. Those are not bad games, like, at all, but people act like the Coalition has been destroying Gears of War. And so, like, when they hear this, they're, like, oh, they're going to go back to the horror stuff and things like that. I'm like, that's what everyone seems to be like applauding. I'm like, you guys are telling them to bring back stuff that doesn't matter when it comes to Gears, and the Coalition are taking the wrong like lesson, I guess, or whatever it is that you want to say, of like what they have to do with the next Gears game. Especially like when it comes to finishing Gears of War like 4 and 5 story. Because for me, like, the horror elements were never a big deal of a Gears game. It's always been the characters. That's what's always separated Gears from other. I think we talked about this. I mentioned this last week or whatever. When it came to the big two shooters for Xbox, I never cared about Halo like like that, because Master Chief never had a character. He's not a character. But when you talk about the characters for Gears, like, they have, like, you can tell me what they are, who they are. Dom and Devin. You love Cole for a reason. It's not just because, like, oh, Cole's just like, oh, he looks cool. Like, no, he's Coltrane. Like, everyone knows who he is. Baird is the asshole guy, that, like, the techie dude, and yeah, they all fit into certain cliched characters, but they have their own character as well. And see, that's what I'm more excited for with Gears E-Day, that they're going back to trying to just be like, let's, make this more character driven again, instead of, or not even that it's more character driven, but like, they're going back to characters that obviously everyone cares about. We have, Dom got killed off in Gears 3. Marcus isn't the main character anymore. But the thing is, I think what happened too is that when they made Gears of War 4, of course, they're introducing new characters, and that takes time, to make these characters loved or whatever, beloved. Like it's not gonna happen in the first game. And I think making Kate the main character in 5 kind of hurt that shit because JD is like not there in like most of the game. It's just her and Dell. Uh, so I think that probably has hurt the games in some way. I still don't think they're bad games, but like I can like admit that like when it comes to the stories, yeah, I do prefer Gears 1 through 3 more. But that's because those characters, I played all 3 of those games and was there from the beginning and everything. So I don't know.
The game is about 4 big bros just broing up, bro style. That's how the game was fun.
I do love that. That's when people talk about like the characters from Gears 1 through 3, that they're like, or just the Gears 1 through 3 in general, like they want to lump it in with like bro shooters, and I'm like, I don't know, like like I said, I even said it earlier. Yeah, they were still bombastic, like summer blockbuster style things, but they weren't like bro shooters. Like it wasn't like that. They were like there was something more
Part,
there.
right? The darker horror shooter in the beginning, and then it started becoming that crazy over the top, ride a Brumach and blow the fuck up out of this fucking locust, right? Yeah. I
Gears
like the
3 did
dark.
have
It
a
gets
lot
it
more
very
there.
slow, dope thing. Everything's just so fast paced, and I think getting back to that nitty gritty game is gonna be pretty cool.
I don't know.
Then you can start seeing more gore and blood and just darker feeling for the game.
Yeah, I said that last week. I'm so glad that it doesn't look like they're gonna like shy away from the gore and all that. Like they showed it in the trailer, that head getting blown off and everything. I don't know. I just want to. I just want a new Gears game already. It's been so
Yeah.
fucking long since we've
It's
had a
gonna be
Gears game.
2+ years from right now, minimum.
Actually, there's been some reports that like Microsoft does want to get it out next year.
That would be. I mean, I'd shit my brains out, but I mean,
Well, okay.
I'm not holding my breath.
The thing is, I don't know. Did we talk about this specific thing last week? That I think they might want to get it out next year. I think it. That's why we just haven't heard, because it's not like this game just started development. I think they've been developing it for a while. I mean, the reports were that it has been in development for a while. I mean, we've been hearing shit left and right for at least the past 3 years, and they had to have been at least starting pre-production after Gears 5, at least a little bit after Gears 5. So if you take into account everything and factor in all that stuff or whatever, the game has to have been in at least active development for 3 years now. Maybe obviously not yet done, but like I don't know. It's not like they just started, you know. So next year doesn't sound like impossible.
Yeah,
Like
because when was they were like, oh, this is the last update for Gears 5? When was that?
yeah, but that's a small team that could just keep doing that kind of stuff. I think it
Yeah,
happened.
but they took like when did they? Because they finally like.
I think it
support
happened.
completely.
I think it happened mid-COVID or something.
Gotcha. Yeah. So, I mean, even then, like, so even the small team that was.
They took all the resources and started work on what everyone thought was Gear 6.
Or the Gears remaster.
Yeah. And I think the thing is too, I don't think that's just Coalition working on it. I think there's another studio that's working on E-Day as well. that might even like if my thought process is right, like they're probably actually even the main developer, like the main team, because I want to say it was Splash Damage or the guys who did Gears Tactics. I think it was them that like supposedly they were working on a Gears of War thing, but nobody knew. Obviously, clearly nobody knew because like the reports were Collection and Gears 6, and then it ended up being E-Day. So maybe they're like the main team working on it. Splash Damage. I don't know. So I don't know. I mean, the game coming out next year might actually be a possibility. And I said it, like maybe the reason is we didn't get like even a release year because maybe they are, they want to give themselves some wiggle room if they are going to be like, fuck it, we're going to release it in, beginning of 2026. But maybe they are going to be like, oh no shit, we're releasing it at the near the end of 2025 because I think they're waiting for the Grand Theft Auto release date. I it just makes sense. You don't want to put the game right next to like if they're gonna even if they say like, oh, we're releasing it in 2025. Like if they had put the year 2025 on it, when do you think it's coming out? Not early 2025, right? The set like near the one of the last 3 months,
Yeah.
So I think
Holiday release.
yeah. So I think that they didn't even put a year because even if they have like, oh yeah, we want to probably release it in November of next year, that they risk even saying a year that like everyone's like, oh, it's gonna either release in November, September, October, or whatever. Obviously not December. Games don't release in that month typically. Not big games anyway. But that everyone's gonna think they're gonna release in one of those 3 months. And so then if they're like, oh yeah, we're planning, internally they're planning like an October release date, and then all of a sudden Grand Theft Auto is like, oh yeah, releasing October whatever 2025. It's like, oh shit, okay, well we can't release it in October, and kind of don't want to release it now in November because it's late October, so we kind of want to stay out of the the splash zone of Grand Theft Auto. Obviously, like releasing it in December is kind of not a good idea. That's why games don't typically do that. They might be like, you know what, fuck it, we're just gonna push it to like March 2026. That's my thought process on it. So I don't know. I don't know what you
I would
guys.
love it if they do. I would love it if they do. I mean, like the problem is like if you do wait for GTA, like if GTA is also like if that's an end of year thing, then you run like I guess that's why they don't announce the release date because then they can release it early 2026. So
Well, because the thing is too, like let's say, even though they're like, yeah, it's releasing it's releasing in 2025. What if Rockstar does come out and say, hey, you know what, we're gonna need more time. We're releasing it in the first half of 2026. Now that frees up like everything. And then all of a sudden you can release in like November of 2025. I don't know. That's just my thought process. They're just waiting. Like I think a lot of companies are waiting because for that release date, there's just not much you can do until they are like, oh, yeah, we're releasing this day. Like this is our release date. Because if you decide to go ahead and just release it on a certain day and before GTA makes their, stakes their claim or whatever, puts their flag in the ground, and then all of a sudden GTA is like, oh, actually, yeah, we're releasing on that day. With the way people complain nowadays, especially Microsoft, when it comes to Microsoft games, like, do you think that's gonna go over well if they're like, oh yeah, we're releasing in November whatever 2025, and then ends up releasing that time frame anyway, and they're like, yeah, we're pushing it out. Like, can you imagine the kind of like shitstorm that's gonna bring? Like the how much crying that's gonna be from people who don't know how to shut up. So
Yeah, no, I agree. Like they're like if that's the play they're doing, then I'm good with that. But I'm not holding my breath.
yeah, we're just gonna have to wait and see. So I don't know. Yeah. Um. Yeah. I don't know. The other big thing is Nintendo's gonna do their direct. Obviously, there's not much, you know, to say about that. It's happening tomorrow. They did say,
Yeah, I saw a rumor today that like 1 to 2, there's gonna be like 1 to 2 new game announcements during
yeah,
the
and
Nintendo Direct.
I saw like JJ, you were putting that like them talking about Metroid Prime 4 or whatever. I don't think that's happening at all because they said themselves in their tweet or whatever their little press release that all this stuff it's focused on what's coming out by the end of the year. So second half of 2024. I Unless they are like, hey, you know what? Yeah, Metroid Prime 4 is finally coming out this year. Which I mean, like, let's be fucking
Probably
serious here.
most likely be a launch title for the Switch too, if any.
Yeah,
I
and
don't
they
even think
also
they're not
they're
gonna
not
announce
talking
the
about
Switch 2.
they even said in that
Well, yeah,
they're
they said they're not gonna do it. I'm not gonna say they're switching it for it. I'm just saying if it does come out, it's probably most likely for the Switch too.
yeah. That's what I'm saying. I don't think there's going to be any mention of Metroid Prime 4. And yeah, they said there's not going to be any mention of a Switch successor. So we're going to have to wait on that still. I mean,
Because the
I would
Switch is still
assume.
selling insanely great, so they're like, why the fuck are we even gonna waste time? Like,
I mean, yeah, the Switch is a really good console. Like, I know that, we've talked about how, like, the power of the console sucks. And, we're obviously not like big ass Nintendo fans like that. But we have games that we'll play on it. Like, obviously, we all, to one extent or another, enjoy owning a Switch, for whatever it
yeah.
is. So it's, the Switch is a good console. There's a reason it's selling well. And obviously, we're not the casual gamer. That 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 console is geared more toward a casual gamer who wants to play Mario and stuff like that. Like, you know, that's why they can survive without a game like Call of Duty or well, I know they do get Madden and stuff, right? They're just not as good looking.
The FIFA they get is literally just a roster update. I don't know if they get Madden, but I know the FIFAs they get are literal reskins.
I want to
Yeah,
say actually, the guy, the director, I think the director Yoshida wanted to that one that made Final Fantasy 14 MMO one was actually really wanting to play that MMO onto the Switch for their game.
that'd be a
But they
very
ran on the
awesome.
PS3, so can't tell me you can't run on the Switch.
I mean, yeah, if it ran on the PS3, that's the Switch is at least a little bit more powerful than the PS3 360 gen. So
My buddy has a Steam Deck and he loves playing Final Fantasy 14 on Steam Deck. It actually runs pretty decent, and in PvP when it's like fucking 64 players, something like that, 3 different teams.
hmm.
There probably might be a limitation to like because the game has like very gorgeous looking spell effects and explosions in the game when so you're trying to fight a boss and see somebody casting a whole bunch of black mage spells, they're over the top fucking things. But obviously you gotta lower those down for like the Switch or the Steam Deck so you actually don't blow up the system.
Yeah, no, like when I run God of War on the Steam Deck, like it sounds like a goddamn. It sounds like the PS4 trying to run any game, just like a fucking jet engine.
Game came out today.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
But yeah, and so that
hopefully, I think for this, if we're talking about the directing, I would love to see a Metroid Prime 2 like drop, kind of
oh,
like they did
like they
the other
did with
one.
the Metroid Prime one.
Yeah, they kind of just released like Metroid Prime 2, then later on 3, then they go, oh, 4. You know, fuck you guys. You know, kind of like, hey, now we're getting closer to the 4 release. It kind of to buy us time. So we
You know what I'd
would
actually
love
love to
to see
see?
that.
I want them to. I'm just surprised they haven't done it either. With them bringing all the other Wii U games onto the Switch, I want them to bring that Twilight Princess and Wind Waker. Like,
Get the fuck out of here. They might as well put on every fucking goddamn fucking Nintendo since it fucking came out.
well, I mean, like, I
It's funny
want
you
to.
shit on Sony and for like Last of Us. You're like, hey, give me a remake of a remake of another remake of a remake of a remake.
No,
Yeah.
okay. Look,
Christ.
the reason I want the Twilight uh, Princess and Wind Waker HD games is because there's a special case with that. What Sony does with releasing, like, oh, when they were like, oh yeah, we're remaking Last of Us Part 1. Like, we have Last of Us remastered. Literally on, like, playable on the PlayStation 5. It was a PlayStation 4 game, but you can play it on the PlayStation 5. Tell me, do you have a Wii U or any other way to play Wii U games?
No.
No. So that makes sense. I'd do the same
If you
thing.
have a Wii, you can play fucking Twilight Princess.
Do you have a
You
Wii?
can play both.
If Sony didn't make the PS5 backwards compatible
Yeah.
with PS4 games, you would have been okay with them porting it up.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Because for me,
See, like I'm more mad at Nintendo for always switching up. Like, oh, we're gonna do. Let's like you go back to the N64. Like we have cartridges, and then like it's like the GameCube. We have like these mini discs.
oh no, no,
And now
look.
we're gonna go to
Don't get me
regular
wrong. No.
disc, and now we're
Don't
going
get me
back to
wrong.
cartridges.
Don't get me wrong. I really wish Nintendo didn't do that shit. That they made their shit backwards compatible. Their Switch successor, I'm like, that's it. You guys are locked into these little things. That's it. You can't make any other kind of what do you call, unless you can, like, if you have like the digital version of games, or you can find a way, or not find a way, but like make it where, like, oh, we unlocked like the digital version of it for you if you own it, whatever. To me, Nintendo's locked into making the cartridges because they need to make their consoles from here on out have to be backwards compatible. Like, don't get me wrong, Devin, the Wii U to the Switch, fucking retarded because you can't play Wii U games on the Switch because they decided, yeah, we're going to do this. I think that is a very fucked up thing for the Nintendo to do. But it is what it is. If they're at least if they're gonna at least just let me be able to play old games, Wii U games, then fine. Like, it is what it is. But at least I want to be able to play them. Like, I do want to be able to play them, and those are way better games than fucking Last of Us. That's what, but yeah, like, that's why I still think it's stupid too, because obviously Nintendo's going to charge full price. They shouldn't charge full price. It should be like $30, $40. Huh?
People still buy it. People still buy it. No matter.
Oh, I'm still going to buy it because I'm an idiot.
It's $60 for 5 years.
Yeah. I'm still going to buy it because I'm an idiot like that. Like, we all, like, let's be real here.
The guy who's got like no money, and he's like, yeah,
Well,
take my money, Nintendo.
Yeah, I know. But like, what I'm saying is that, like, them doing that, I'd rather just go ahead and do that than, like, if you could still play the game because it's on the Wii U and Wii U was the Switch was backwards compatible with the Wii U, and they're like, oh yeah, here's the HD remaster or whatever of Twilight Princess. Oh yeah, but we're actually doing like a whole new remake, so it looks, because obviously those are just remasters. They're not remakes.
One, it used to be like fucking Metroid Prime on Switch. That shit was fucking good. It was better than a fucking remastered. It wasn't fully a remake, but it was just fucking gorgeous.
But I'm just saying,
If it makes it look like that, then I will buy it because I'm not fucking dumb buying the same game for the fucking 6th time or whatever the fuck.
But I'm just saying,
but-
if the Switch was backwards compatible with the Wii U, and we had the Twilight Princess and Wind Waker HD remasters, but they're like, oh, we're like completely remaking the game, so that it looks like graphics for the current Switch, and we're gonna charge you full price for these games, even though there is just the HD remaster. I'm like, that. What is the point at that point? Like, no, you're gonna charge me $60 to play a game that, yeah, don't get me wrong, looks prettier, but like you made an HD remaster literally like a few years ago. Don't you're gonna don't piss on my leg and tell me it's raining.
I feel like it should be 40, like the Metroid Prime remastered. I think just like those remasters for like those old games for GameCube and shit is $40. But I think it's a decent price for them.
I don't. It would just be like. I mean, I'd say the same shit to Xbox if they were happen to be doing anything, but they don't really seem to want to make remakes of their games right now, which is a little bit. But actually, no. If they were like, actually, no. This is funny that we're talking about this in like Xbox. There is supposedly like, there's rumors that they want to remake Halo 1. Like they want to do it again. And it would, they would release it on the PlayStation. So like right there, that is stupid. Like you have Halo, Anniversary Edition. You don't need a whole new like remake of Halo 1, because Halo Anniversary is literally in the Master Chief Collection, and it looks good. It's not like it looks like crap. It would make sense if it was like, oh yeah, if they were like, oh, we're gonna do this for Halo 3. Okay, that makes more sense, because they don't have like an actual like. I mean, it's prettier up, in the Master Chief Collection, but it's not like they really did a lot of work on it. It looks like Halo 3, but plays at 60 frames, like from the Xbox 360. So, like, if they were to maybe do Halo 3, okay. So yeah, actually, that Xbox has their own thing that I'm like, that's fucking retarded. Like, oh, we're gonna remake Halo 1. Like, you have a remake of Halo 1. It's called the Anniversary Edition.
Anniversary Edition that came out fucking 13 years ago.
Yeah, I know it came out a long time ago, but like, I don't know. When was the last time you played it? The Master Chief Collection played Halo 1. I'm not calling it Halo CE. When was the last time you played Halo 1?
I played Halo CE a couple months ago.
Okay, did you look at it and we're like, damn, this game looks like shit?
Games look like shit. If you play fucking
Well,
goddamn
I mean-
Elden Ring and shit like that.
I mean, Halo games don't look good anyway. They just, there's a cartoony aesthetic to them that people seem to love. I'll never understand. Dude, like, a game like Legend of Zelda can have a cartoony aesthetic. When you're making a sci-fi game that was supposed to be like this, that like cartoony aesthetic doesn't work. Like, there's a reason I think Halo 4 was better art style wise, because they were like, let's lean into what this actually is, a fucking sci-fi action game that's supposed to look like semi-realistic at least. It's just like with, I mean, look at the way Dragon Age Veil, the Veil Guard looks. Look at the way they're like leaning into it, looking more cartoony compared to, Dragon Age Origins, and I think it was just called Dragon Age 2, right? Yeah. It doesn't work for every game.
Cartoon, right? Fable? Cartoon?
But see, the reason a game like Fable, it works for Fable, the cartoon aesthetic, is because that game is kind of supposed to be extremely comical. It's supposed to be a comedy, basically.
You only get the cartoony graphics?
The what?
The cartoony graphics. Only comedy games can do that.
No, no, not necessarily. What do you call it? I'm just saying, like
It helps.
it helps. That's what I'm saying. Like, can you imagine if Borderlands wasn't comedy? It was just like a serious game, but it had that like comic book art style, and it just was kind of like lifeless. Because that's what I think it is. When you have that kind of like those certain types of art styles, the comedy brings like breathes more life into these into it, because you're obviously going for a certain aesthetic. And if you're gonna just be like like if the game takes itself seriously, then it's hard to like look at your game when it's like, oh, but this is the art style that we have, and the game plays itself seriously. It's just hard to take that game like 100%, because it's just, why did you choose this as the art style, but the game is just doesn't, like, the game's tone doesn't match it. I don't know. That's just my thought
Dude,
process on it. I just think it's weird.
Fair enough.
I don't know. Like, just imagine Gears of War had like the shell shaded shit, and it's supposed to be this gory fucking, like, whatever. Would you want it? Would you take Gears of War as serious as it is? You'd actually.
It's
That's
very
the thing.
action-packed, so
You'd
yeah, right.
probably be laughing at a
Fine.
lot of stuff, because it would be so like over the top. But it's just like, I don't know. Certain art styles are better with certain tones of games, like the stories and everything. So, I don't know. Whatever. I don't know. That's all.
what heifer?
Yeah, that's neither here nor there now. All right, we're gonna move on to these topics that we brought in, or whatever. Honestly, I kind of don't have anything else. I have the thing that I told you guys about, with that would have to do with Father's Day, but we'll wait for that. We'll wait on that one.
You're finally gonna call me Zaddy.
No,
Thank God.
never. As I said in the Discord, I'd rather die in a fire. All right, so JJ, because this was basically your idea, you're first.
Yeah.
We're not gonna do it
Yeah.
like how we did. We're not gonna do it like a round robin style. We're just gonna do your two topics, then we'll probably move on to Devin. So, go ahead.
I think you already told me kind of the game you wanted, but I was thinking about, since we're in the era of fucking remakes, what game would you like to be remade that hasn't been announced yet?
Oh God.
I have a very basic bitch answer, which I know there's so many people that have wanted this game remade, but Simpsons Hit and Run. That game,
Oh, Simpsons
like,
Hitman.
that game doesn't like a remaster wouldn't do it justice, but if they did like an actual like full on remake of that game,
Remake.
where like, because like there's like you couldn't, it wasn't like full open world 100% of the time. So if they made it like essentially like literally Grand Theft Auto, like even if they just made a new Simpsons like Hit and Run,
Yeah.
like Simpsons Hit and Run 2, like that's the thing is like they have like if they just make a new one that's like fully open world all the time, like that shit would fucking sell.
And since the Simpsons like have added a lot of characters and locations now, it's gonna be pretty big. Kind of like the South Park game.
Yeah.
I thought Simpsons Hit and
Like
Run was basically Crazy Taxi, or was that a different?
That's a different one, right?
that's a different one. What is that one called?
Road Rage?
Or no, yeah. Or am I yeah, Hit and Run is the one that's the open world one.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, yeah. But no, I know I want that game remade. Tons of people people have been clamoring that for a long time. Like
I would
I
have
don't know
thought
if it's
Road
just
Rage would have been the one, because of it's basically Crazy Taxi.
yeah. Like I know a lot of people want that one remade, and I just don't know why they're not doing it. I just don't know if they think it's
Who
because
does?
like Simpsons still airs, like it still gets good viewers, like the fan base is still there.
Oh yeah.
So I just don't
Who
know.
made the Simpsons that game? Who made the
EA,
game?
EA
TH
published it.
I thought
Oh,
it was a
EA published?
THQ game.
I'm pretty sure EA. Like
Jeez.
Hmm.
Hit and run.
Did they
yeah.
do a Did THQ do a Simpsons game at all? Then maybe I'm just.
I don't know. Maybe.
It's been fucking years since original THQ shut down.
It's developed by Radical Entertainment.
Radical
Publisher
EA.
Vivendi Universal Games. So yeah,
But
EA.
or
That's
maybe EA.
Activision.
So split, right? No. The EA and Activision? Or Activision?
Activision's Vivendi.
Regardless,
Vivendi.
regardless,
Somebody's gotta make it.
whoever has the
Somebody's gotta
fucking
make it.
whoever has the fucking rights just needs to
Xbox. Then
like
they're the
like,
ones with the
yeah.
rights.
If they announce like a Simpsons hit and run, that game would sell like crazy. Like
If Vivendi Universal were the ones who published it, that's Activision. So
yeah,
Activision's now owned by Microsoft. It would be an Xbox thing if they were to somehow be like. I mean, that'd be. I mean, I was like, whatever about it. But I mean, like, if Xbox were to somehow, there's a few games like that Microsoft, if they were able to like just not even like do remasters, remakes of, if they were just able to like, if they just brought them back, that would get them so much will. But that's probably one of them then, right? If Microsoft was like, hey, we're gonna do this game, remake this game because we own the rights to it. I mean, there's obviously other stuff because of like Simpsons license and everything, but that is an interesting little game choice there, though, especially with recent events of acquisitions and stuff.
yeah. Like I didn't want to come in here and be like Gears of War like trilogy
Yeah,
remake,
dude.
like,
Obviously.
obviously.
Like I was even gonna say before you and I even said any games, like let's just get this out of the way. Like, duh, we would love at least a remaster of Gears 2 and 3. Maybe even I mean I would enjoy Judgment to be added to it, but like a Gears collection. Like they don't even need to do what like they did with Ultimate Edition. Just give us remasters. But yeah, I was even gonna say like yeah, that's such a like duh like response. All right. For me, I've said this before on other episodes of the podcast, and I tell you guys all the time. I say it even on Twitter. I want Xenogears. I need a Xenogears remake, but not only just a remake. Like I need that game to get finished because, as I've stated on previous episodes, of the podcast, that game is like, depending on how you want to take it, famously or infamously, like never finished. It did not get finished. They were like making it and then,
Never been.
huh?
That Shimiru, whatever the fuck. Like the guy took like 10, 15 years to make the third one, and it still didn't even finish.
Oh, that you're talking about Xenosaga?
No, it's Shinmu or something like that.
Oh, Shenmue.
You're
Shenmue.
talking about
Shenmue.
There you go. I was like, yeah.
Well, that's a trilogy of games. Xenogears is one game.
There's a fourth one. There's a fourth one supposed to be coming out. The
Shenmue?
game ends with a fucking it ends with a cliffhanger. The fucking bad guy leaves. The
Yeah,
character gets punched like twice,
third-
and he's like, "I will."
the
find
third
you."
one, people got so many people pissed off at it because they did like they crowdfunded it or whatever, like GoFundMe'd it, and he like ended it on another cliffhanger, and it was like, dude, like why would you do this to us? Like,
Finish the fucking
You dick.
story. Jesus Christ,
Yeah,
that's
because
fucked
the
up.
last one came out like PS2, right? Like
X
early 2000s.
original Xbox.
he- yeah, because the first one came out was a Dreamcast exclusive, and was at that time it was reported it was the most expensive game that was ever made. Like, and like was stupid how much money they gave to the guy to make the game, because I think it was reported that like in order for it to make money, like everyone who owned a Dreamcast would buy like 2 copies or some shit like that. Like, so it's just like
Jesus Christ, dude.
Yeah.
Fuck.
So yeah,
Yeah. So,
yeah. Back to Xenogears.
yeah, Xenogears should get a remake.
No, I want that remake because I want, but like that's the thing too. I don't want it like if it ever actually happened, I don't want it to get the Final Fantasy VII remake treatment where they turn it into an action game. I want them to keep the. I mean, like I don't like turn-based games nowadays, but that one I will happily play as a, if they keep the turn. You know, for them to keep it as a turn-based game, I would happily play that game because I like the way the combat is. It's not just like, okay, I choose attack or I choose a spell or whatever it is. It's you could it still has that like, okay, I choose to heal and stuff like that or choose to attack. But when it's got a combo system in it. I love that combo system that I wish more games did, where it was like attacks were tied to the X, or I guess it's called cross, right? It's not even called X. It's called cross or whatever. The X uh, triangle and the square. So it was like each one was either 10, 20, or 30. So when you pressed the button, you could do like 3 X's. And so it's like, oh, you're doing 10 attacks. You had like a certain amount of points. So it's like, oh, you had 30. So if you just do X, 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 you do that. But then it turns into a combo for like one big hit at the end. And I just, and then I love the story, this whole like, you know, like there's a lot of religious undertones or overtones, maybe even when it came to that game. But like I love the story with like the main character having the dual identity. I love the gameplay with the actual like the mechs. They're called gears. Um, Notice a trend of games that I really really love. But yeah, like and then yeah, like I said, I want that story to be like. I mean, it finished. The story does get finished, but like it had to get like rushed at the end. If they were able to get that, just do what they were supposed to do. But that's a Square Enix game. I don't know. You can never probably get rights to be able to. The guy who does, because he went on to make the Xenosaga games, and then the Xenoblade games. He really likes that Xeno, uh, like title. But yeah, I don't know. It sucks too because I really like. I would even love it if they just did like a remaster. Like maybe if Square Enix was like, "Oh, here's just a re-release or whatever." Because like I think you could play, yeah, you could play that game on PS3, but you can't play it on PS4 and by extension PS5 through stuff like that. So I just want to be able to play that game without having to go buy a PS3. Same thing, right, with the whole like I've said with the God of War collection. Like I want them to put that on the just do a re-release and put it on the PS5, but whatever. I don't know. That's it for what I wanted. I wanted with remake.
Thank you. My game that would love to remake. Game called Shadow Hearts. I think I brought it up a few times, maybe.
It's an
It's a
RPG,
turn
right?
based. Yeah, it's an RPG
I've heard of it.
set
Yeah.
in the World War One era. Um,
Was
it's like you're a guy that kind of has like you can get like souls from monsters, and they have each have like their own attribute. You can like transform into like the monster. I think the first one you become is like a demon when you're playing the beginning, and you can change to different monsters later on when you get other monster souls. It's it's turn based, just like the old school like Final Fantasy games. But this one where instead of hey you hit him attack and you gotta hit some like boom done. You can hit up the enemy up to 3 times, but there's like a little a wheel that comes up and you have to time it to hit the buttons, and there's like kind of like the big range where like okay you'll do your normal damage, or you can get that risky one, you can get that little sliver to get your like an extra critical hit or something like that. But if you mess up one time, you're fucking screwed. So like
That
it would
sounds
just
like
stop right there.
that sounds like what they're doing with that Expedition 33, where they have like
Yeah,
the like.
that's like kind of that's why I was very like, ooh, that's why I was kind of excited on my radar on that one. But it was like a horror RPG. It was interesting.
Was that on the PS1?
PS2.
It was PS2.
All three games were on PS2.
Oh, there
Shadow
was
Hearts
more than
1,
one.
2,
Jesus.
and 3. Yeah, the third one has a different. It was a different set of people, but it was really cool. I saw my cousin play it a long time ago, and I was really intrigued. And I still have my Shadow Hearts 1 copy when my dad worked at Hollywood Video. I just need to unbox my PlayStation 2 and actually play it. But it'd be really cool to see the game just look visually better and just maybe make it even creepier, scary, the horror stuff. But yeah, other than that, that's my pick for that kind of game. And not as big as long as yours, but I just liked it. It was cool.
Okay. I mean, you don't need to go into a whole thing of why you want the game. You just want the game. It makes sense. But yeah, that's cool. I'm looking at the time here.
Who's next? Who's he? You
We'll
want to
just
do
do.
yours?
We're just gonna do one topic each because yeah, now we have like
Yeah.
don't have
Yeah.
you know
So what's one of these? Devin? Would be your
Devin. We're
topic.
gonna do Devin's topic, a topic of his choice.
Sure. It's kind of similar-ish, but just like your favorite cult classic game. Like it doesn't need a remake, but just something that like may not have been like the most highly rated game, but just like you enjoyed it. Like it was just something you enjoyed playing. So for me, I have a couple. Like, one is like actually was a good game, but just didn't sell well. Was that Enslaved Odyssey to the West? Like it just didn't sell well, but I really liked that game. It had fun combat, fun platforming. Like it was a really good game. It just sold like dog shit, and like, but like, God, who's the guy that
It's
Andy
yeah,
Serkis?
Andy Serkis.
The like he did like the mocap and stuff for it, so like it had big names behind it. So it was really kind of sucked that like didn't get like a sequel or whatever to that. But then in terms of a game, it was bad, but like it was still fun to play. 50 Cent Blood in the Sand, baby. Like it's worth just a playthrough. Like it's kind of one of those games. It's like it's kind of so bad, it's good. Kind of like how everyone likes. What's that? Uh, I always forget the title of one game, but like that so many people play. Kind of like a horror game. I'm spaced on the title of that one,
The
but
Condemned,
like no,
The Darkness.
no, it was like that game. It doesn't matter. I'll figure it out later. But no, like the 50 Cent Blood in the Sand, like 50 Cent goes and plays a concert in the Middle East and gets his diamond encrusted skull stolen, and now has to go shoot up like half the fucking Middle East in order to get his diamond encrusted skull back. And then like the end mission is just like him in a fucking helicopter with like goddamn minigun just mowing down terrorists, and you're just like, what the fuck am I even playing right now? So that's I don't even like like that's how the game ends. You're just in a helicopter on a minigun just mowing down terrorists. Like that's 50 Cent Blood in the Sand. And there's a button that you can just press to have them just swear at people. There's a swear button in the game. And you can play co-op too, which is great. Couch co-op.
JJ, you go next when because I have to look up
That's
the name of the game.
yeah.
Yeah. I guess I'll do two games as well. Fuck. I think I was the Darkness. I think when Everett said it, but I really like those games. I just remember playing the first one. I was just super hooked into it, and when they released the second one, fuck, I think we were at GameStop. I think I bought that game and I beat it in like 2 days, 100% the game, got every single achievement and everything. My dad's like, "Was it worth it?" I'm like, "Yeah, it fucking was." It's fucking cool. The game buttons with the whole bumpers and triggers. Obviously, shooting with the triggers and their bumpers are the ones that were actually controlling the darkness itself for the tentacles. It was a lot more. It just felt like engaged. Cool.
Yeah.
And the other one I want to say probably Spec Ops: The Line. That's another sleeper.
Yeah.
That's
That one had a really good story.
Yeah, I remember but Sam was really like big into this, and I'm like, okay, I'll check it out. So it was really cool. It's kind of fucked up, you know. If you played the game, you know why it's fucked. But yeah, it sucks that it didn't really go anywhere else. But
Yeah, it was another one of those ones that like a critical darling, but like did not.
you know,
Yeah,
I can't.
it's like, oh, a story with actual substance.
Yeah.
Pass.
yeah, exactly.
Can we go into space? It's like, sure.
So I'm trying to find the name of the game that I'm talking about. Maybe you guys can help me. Well, maybe
What
you
is it?
guys. So it was on the GameCube.
kind
I
of
had
game?
on the. I had it on the.
Eternal Darkness.
No. That I
That
mean,
one? I
yeah,
know that was a horror
that is
game.
one of those games. That's a game actually
Yeah,
that
I guess
deserves
classic.
that game
Dude,
deserves a
that's
fucking
one.
remake.
I wish I played that one. I wish I fucking played that one.
That game
Anyway,
deserves a remake though as well. Like Eternal Darkness. That game was so good. Like I love the way it fucked with you. You know, we'll go ahead and talk about it a little bit because that game was so like there was points where it starts like, oh yeah, it's you think the volume is getting like lowered and then it like crashes, quote unquote. You're like, wait, what's going on here? I love that game. Like
you could totally tell like they probably got some stuff from fucking Metal Gear from
yeah, but
Kojima
think
because
of
he had the
that.
same shit too where they fucked up your like you look at your memory card and like some shit's deleted. You're like, what the fuck? It's like just kidding. Or he starts naming off games that you played or some shit on your memory card. Like what the fuck? You know?
Yeah, that game,
Yeah,
Eternal
or to
Darkness.
beat a
Ahead of
boss,
its time.
you put your controller in the second because it like
Yeah,
I forget
for
Oh
which
yeah,
boss
that's
it
the
Psycho
was.
second
Like,
one.
Psycho Mantis.
yeah,
Trust me,
Psycho Mantis.
Psycho Mantis is probably like my favorite boss in all of video game history because of like the stuff like that. Psycho Mantis is yeah, but no, that's not the game I was talking about though. But no, yeah, that Eternal Darkness, whew, like fuck, man, Silicon Knights really fucked up on that shit. But no, there was this. It was like a military, not a military shooter, but it was a military based game where like you played like a plumber and like China or somebody like invaded, and it was like a third person shooter. Man, I really wish I could.
Mercenaries?
No, no, no. I really wish I remember the name of the
Mercenaries
game.
on fucking.
It was. I had it on the GameCube, but it was on PlayStation 2 and Xbox.
So what was it? Did it get invaded by China?
I think you get invaded by like China or something. I'm not thinking Homefront.
No, that's 360 and PS3.
Yeah, that's a first person. This
Yeah.
was a third person
I have
shooter.
no idea what you're talking.
Yeah, fuck. I really wish I could remember. I remember because it had multiplayer, and me and my family, like me and my brothers, played a lot of that multiplayer on the GameCube, like just against each other or whatever. But I also played through the story like a few times because I liked it. It was a good game. It was fuck. I wish I remembered who made it. I'm gonna remember later on, and it's gonna suck. Another game though that I do want to bring up that I really play. I really enjoyed a lot, and I put a lot of hours into it. Actually, I wish I remembered how many hours, but So you guys remember this game called Section 8? It was on the
Yeah.
360 era. So it had a sequel, but it wasn't a full fledged game like Section 8. Section 8 had like a disc and everything, but it had a
Yeah, okay, I
sequel.
remember that. I remember.
Yeah, it had a sequel called Section 8 Prejudice. Um, and it was just
That was straight up an arcade one, right?
it was an
That was the
arcade
arcade
game.
is actually a lot better than the
Yeah,
game,
no,
the first one, right?
yeah, that game, it was so good because it was like, it's a sci-fi shooter. There was stuff like jetpacks and things like that, but it was like just on its own, it was a very good shooter. I played a lot of it. Like I'd have to look it up, but like I didn't get every achievement, but I got almost every achievement because it did have a campaign too. Um, but I don't know if I finished the campaign or not. I just remember playing like the multiplayer, a lot of it, because when it came out, it might have been part of like the Summer of Arcade stuff, where it was like buy all the games and you or buy 3 of them, whatever you get four, the fourth one free or whatever it was. And I think I just was like, I'm gonna get it because I want to get all the games for the promotion. I think that's what happened. That's why I bought it, and I was just like, oh wow, this game is very good, like surprisingly good. So yeah, Section 8 Prejudice. That's probably another game I like. With the whole like remakes, I wouldn't mind like a remastering of that. But I don't even know who made that game. Man, and really wishing I could remember the name of
Freedom
that.
Fighters.
Freedom Fighters. Freedom Fighters.
Eh,
There we
Because
go.
I was putting in the thing. I'm like, when you said like home, it's not Homefront. I'm like, when I saw the case for it, it kind of looks like Homefront. So I'm like, this has to be it.
Freedom Fighters. Freedom Fighters is the game. That's the one I played. Yeah, I played through that campaign like 4 or 5 times. I mean, at the time, like I said, I had it on the GameCube, and obviously wasn't online. Playing online shooters and stuff like playing online games the way I do now. I mean, there was a multiplayer component to it, the local stuff. So I did play that, but yeah, I played through that campaign a good amount of times because I just wish I remembered what happened. I think he played like as a plumber or something though. Like he just gets like swept into this like yeah, we're rebelling against. I want to say in the game maybe China didn't invade. Maybe they were like, or like they do invade, but like they don't like this. It's set some time after maybe, and you're just trying to like, okay, we gotta like rebel against them or something. Yeah, I'm not really remembering because it's been probably like 20ish years since I played that game. But yeah, um,
Oh, you know what? Fuck, I think another game that popped up in my head about was you guys heard of Body Harvest on
I have
N64?
heard of that game. Yeah,
Yeah, it's like one of like the old rock like before Rockstar's like
yeah.
game or whatever. Yeah, that game I played the fuck out of that game. I never beat it when I was younger. It was because it's like I never really had a memory card, so I just kept fucking up or I just didn't save. But fuck, that was a fun game. I wish they did more like that whole big bug game. Which whatever the fuck. But that back then though, it was just so interesting and like just weird.
You know what was a really good game? You're reminding me of it now. Um, it was on the N64, or I had it on the N64. I don't know if it was just on that console. It was a fighting like a 3D uh fighting game or whatever, arena fighting game called Biofreaks. It was fun. It was like there was like so they're all supposed to be like mutants and shit like that. I remember I played as I don't remember the name of the guy, but played as a guy who could like shoot fire out of his hands and he flew around. One of his attacks was that he goes up in the air, flies, and like sprays fire on the ground. There was like a mutant like this big he might have been like green or whatever, like this big dude who would literally fart and say smells like beans. Like hilarious. That was a good game. Biofreaks. You guys should look up videos of it. It's pretty funny and everything. I don't know. If if you're into fighters and everything, just like I don't know. I mean, how many you guys played a lot of fighters like those old like maybe one offs and everything?
I don't know what it was. I just like Killer Instinct,
Because
Yeah, same.
like on N64, like Mortal Kombat.
so nothing like
No, I
Primal
played this
Rage.
weird one fighting game. I don't know. No, not Virtue. It was weird. Was it? It was. I hated the game because I think somebody put like I think I bought it at, like a fucking Game Crazy back in the day or a fucking Blockbuster, and they had like the sticker on it of the price. So when we removed it, it had that still had that fucking black sticky shit on it. You know when
Oh
you remove a
god.
sticker off it.
Yeah.
I just hated it. I just fucking hated it, and I just didn't like the game. Cause I like Killer Instinct because it was a 2D and this one was like a 3D fighter. And it was just weird as fuck. It was just two polygon looking motherfuckers.
It probably was like Virtual Fight. No, Virtual Fighter's 2D. No, Virtual Fighters.
Yeah,
What is
versus
that thing?
3D. I just remember like it has like a guy with a fucking like it's the cover is like orange with the guy's having like a fucking fist, like his like boxing gloves or like his hand was like orange essentially.
I don't
But
think I know what
I,
you're
I,
talking about.
I maybe if I could find my fucking 64 games, but other than that,
Did you guys ever play Primal Rage?
Primal Rage.
It was like
Oh,
it was basically think Jurassic Park the fighting game, I guess. I mean, not it
oh
wasn't.
no,
It was it's set during.
it's dinosaurs, right?
Yeah, play as dinosaurs. There was a couple
Oh,
like big apes
monsters, yeah.
or whatever. One of I don't know. I played a lot of that game because I had it on like my Game Boy, so I'd play a lot of that game. One of the cool things about that, there was like a regular console, like on the NES or SNES and everything. Um, maybe even Genesis or whatever. But one of the cool things about that game is that like there would be like cave people on the ground, just like moving around. You could eat them and gain health back. So
That's funny.
yeah, I don't know. I played a lot of that game too, Primal Rage. I'm old. I have played enough of these older games. Yes. So all right, let's just go ahead and one more topic, and it'll be mine. I want, in honor of Father's Day, that was yesterday, as of this recording. I want to know your guys' favorite video game fathers. Devin, will start with you.
Father.
Actually, you know what? JJ will start with you because you are the newest when it comes to being a father among all three of us.
Okay, fair enough, fair enough. Um, I would probably is it? I'm assuming anybody's game as long
Yeah.
as they're a dad, right?
No, well, not
Um,
necessarily the video game, just the like that character you liked them, and they don't even have to be the actual father. Like, let's say you want to go with Joel from Last of Us. He's not the father of what's her face. There's
yeah,
definitely a father
positive
figure.
figure. Yeah. Damn, dude. I'm just gonna go off like just favorite father in the video game. I gotta represent, dude. Motherfucking Bowser.
Bowser.
He's dope.
He is a father. Yeah, you're right.
Classic, bro. Can't mess with the classic, dude. Bowser Jr. Fuck the other,
But he's
the
got
other
aren't
kookiness.
all the other
He's like,
aren't all those
we don't
other
talk about
ones
the.
too?
Yeah, we don't talk about those ones
Oh God,
that much. It's about Bowser Jr. baby.
Bowser. That's an interesting choice. I would have thought you would have went with like an actual hero, not a villain.
Yeah, well, I I was like thinking of Daz, and the other one that came up was fucking Heavy Rain. I'm like, fucker lost his son. What the fuck would I choose it?
God damn. Jason. Jason. Press X to Jason. God damn.
Oh fuck that.
Oh yeah, Bowser. Yeah, no, that works because he's. I
I
mean,
think
I
Bowser
wouldn't say.
loves his son.
I was gonna say I don't know if he's like a great father, but yeah, he is a father. I mean, maybe he absolutely loves his son and all that jazz and everything. But
Like, if
yeah,
you want like mother, like what about like what if I say Big Daddy? Would that count? A Big Daddy? The little sisters? Kind of like a father figure for little sisters.
I don't know.
Very
That's just
protective.
that is an interesting
Just saying.
choice right there. Would they count? Hmm.
You know, like what do they go to their Big Daddy. They go there because they're scared. They look to him as a father figure and they protect them. All that.
All right, Devin. What about you?
I'm gonna go with another not so great dad, but just one of my favorite video game characters, Kratos.
You motherfucker! I was gonna say him.
I figured one of you guys gonna take care of that. Mostly Devin. But I was like, I'm not gonna.
Well, I mean, me and him both. That's our favorite PlayStation franchise. is God of War. I was about to say Gears of War. Jesus Christ, God of War. So that's why I was like, fuck. Should I go? I was about to say, should I go next? Because I bet you Devin's gonna say Kratos. But no, he is a father. Has a daughter in the first set of games, and then a son in the newest set of games. So no, yeah.
hmm
And yeah, what you
He's
saying?
not the
Maybe
best
not a
dad.
great father. Well, I don't know. Like, why is he not the best dad? Because he's just
Well, I
like,
mean, he got tricked into. I mean, he was power hungry, and then he was tricked by the gods to kill his daughter. So I was kind of.
yeah, but it's not like he did it on purpose.
Well, we got another one. It doesn't count. No, we got another kid. It's a redo.
You know what I do? One of my favorite scenes in video games, and it's one of those things where, like, you know how, remember when God of War 2016 was coming out? There was a lot of talk, like, that Kratos was just an angry dude. He had no character in the original games. There was no, like drama, no nothing when it came to, he was just always, it was just violence with him. And I'm like, people clearly didn't play these games or something, or just being ignorant just because they want to make God of War 2016 like look better when it comes to like, oh, it's more mature storytelling, whatever. But like, because there's a few scenes when it comes to him and like him being like a father figure or a father, like in it's one of the PSP games. I don't remember which one. It might have been Chains of Olympus. Yeah, because I think Ghost of Sparta has to do with Thanatos. I think is the name of the god. So I'm pretty sure it's Chains of Olympus. But like in one scene where I mean, Devin, you have to remember, right? Like he gives up all his powers, and then it turns out like, oh yeah, he probably shouldn't have done that. Now the bad guy's gonna, was it Persephone or whatever? Like she's gonna basically destroy the world. And so like it's even like a little mini, the mini game or whatever. You have to like tap circle the whole time, press circle the whole time, and he has to like push his daughter away and everything, so he stop the bad guy. And I'm just like, it seems like that make me like, I like the Kratos character, or like how he clearly cares about Pandora and God of War 3 and everything. I mean, he cares about obviously. Uh, why am I forgetting his son's name? Atreus. Obviously, he cares about him, and obviously those 2016 and Ragnarok leaned way more into him being a father and all that stuff. But yeah, no, Kratos.
Yeah, I was thinking about saying Marcus, but then I'm like,
I would say
kind of too much of a base.
since you said Kratos, yeah, I'm gonna say Marcus then. It was either between Marcus or Kratos for me, but when it comes to being a father, like Kratos has been a father a lot longer in the games, literally.
Yeah,
Yeah. So Marcus would be the other one I choose because I just the reason I'm gonna say him though is because yeah, like I love the characters of the Gears of War games, and I I'm one of the I guess I'm one of the rare people that even likes at least a couple of the new characters uh in the newer games and everything. I don't like Kate, but that's a whole other discussion for why I don't like her character. But I like the JD Phoenix character, and so that's why I don't know. Spoilers for a 5-year-old game. I want them to canonize that Dell Walker is the one who gets killed in the choice you make uh, in Gears 5, because I don't think Marcus deserves that his son is dead. I mean, throughout these games, look at the characters he loses. Like he loses his father, or he thinks he loses his father, but then he does lose his father in Gears 3. He loses Dom in between 3 and 4. He loses Anya.
He lost Anthony and Benjamin.
I don't know if he really cares about them. Maybe Benjamin.
Squatting.
Maybe Benjamin he would have cared more about.
you
Yeah.
bastard, you heartless bastard.
I don't know, man. Yeah, like he's lost a lot. And let's not have him lose his son as well. Like that's just fucked. But yeah, I'll go ahead and
Yeah.
put Marcus Phoenix as my choice for
Your Zaddy.
for favorite video game father. Why you always gotta do that, Devin? Why you gotta turn everything homoerotic? He's like, it's my gift. He's like,
Happy
it's my
fan, man.
special power. Okay.
You just man.
Oh my god. All right, so I guess that's gonna do it. We got some conversation out of that, and like I said, we were constrained for some time. Maybe we could have probably talked about one more. I don't know. It's 10:30 right now. Do you guys maybe want to talk about one more topic that one of you guys come up with, or you want to just end it?
I'm good to just end it. We can save it because maybe the Nintendo Direct will just be light, and we can just have
More stuff
we can
to
just
talk
save.
about?
Yeah, we can just save our topic for next week.
All right then. Yeah, we could do that.
I have something else, but I can talk about it next week when it gets closer to the Final Fantasy 14 thingy. Because they decided live loader a couple days ago.
Mm.
Now it's a ton of new shit.
All right. Well, okay then. We will table any of those discussions for later on. So yeah, we'll go ahead and end it there then. That's been episode 18 of the Gaming Chamber podcast. Once again,
Welcome to episode
I
18.
can't believe we're still doing this joke. Jesus Christ. If you guys like what we put out, my God, fuck. If you guys like what we put out,
Even if you don't, fuck you. How
even
about
if you
that?
don't, fuck you. Like and subscribe. No, but yeah, like, subscribe, share, all that good
Like,
shit.
fuck you. Like and subscribe, please.
If you like our stuff, like and share. If you
What are
don't,
we,
fuck you
Pokimane?
and share it still.
What are we, Pokimane? Just say you're a broke boy and move on.
And buy the cookies.
And buy the cookies for fuck's sake. Oh my god. But yeah, like, subscribe, share, all the good shit. It helps out. Still wanting to grow this channel and grow the podcast because I think
Live
Devin.
streams that he does.
I think
We want to
Devin's.
be growers, not just showers. Am I
But I
right?
think Devin's madness needs to be out there for more people to see. But you never
I have
know.
a unique, like, if there's a title for my life, it's Beautiful Mind. I have a beautiful mind. You're just jelly.
I don't know if I.
Beast with the least.
Oh yeah, that's right, huh? Beast with the least. I forgot to put that in my Twitter header. But all right, yeah. All right, that's gonna do
What's
it.
Twitter?
Huh? Oh my god! Don't
What's
even start.
Twitter? It's just X,
I'm not
right?
calling it X. I'm not calling it X. It's Twitter. Get the fuck out of here. So that's gonna do it for episode 18. I've been your host, 2Beast to Kill You. Obviously, joined by Devin and JJ, and they're gonna say bye.
Rolla?
Oh,
Or no, wait. What's it called in Hawaii? God, why am I spacing on this? It means hello and goodbye. God, I'm an idiot.
Mahalo.
Brain fart.
Jesus Christ, dude. Mahalo. My
Yeah.
God.
So,
Can't even.
aloha.
Is it
Mahalo
Mahalo?
means like thank. Yeah, it's aloha. God,
Yes,
kid watches Lilo and Stitch all the time. Aloha. So
I thought it was Mahalo.
aloha. So that way you don't know if I'm saying hello or goodbye.
Oh my God. All right. All right then. Yeah, we're ending it for sure right there. Until next time, we'll catch you later.